Good evening, everybody. Sorry we're a bit late, but we were having some technical issues. Unfortunately, I'd love to blame other people, but it's all on my end, so that's great. Well, welcome to the Sunday evening build along. I've got Josh with me. Good evening, Josh.
Hello, Matt. Hey, Chris, how you
doing? Yeah, not too bad. And we've also got Mr. Chris Purcell with us as well. Good evening, Chris.
Hello all. How you going?
Not too bad. Yeah, I mean, my heart has stopped briefly as trying to sort the stream out, but normal service has resumed. So, Josh, I've got to do some link sharing. So whilst I do that, will you be a pal and take us through what we're doing tonight?
Absolutely. So tonight is going to be a combination of cutting the panels and starting to assemble the sail together, ready for it to be sewn. We're going to be needing our templates, which we assembled last week, a cutting instrument. I'm using a scalpel with some nice sharp blades, a metal rule, and your trusty adhesive. I suggest ATG tape, but we can use whatever you guys have available. Oh, and of course some sail fabric. It's going to be quite handy to build a kite. Today, I know we're going to start with the center of the kite. If you guys haven't already, where would it be? If you give me half a second. So there was a colorizer made available by Kite Paint. Thank you very much, Waddy, for doing that. So this is the color of the kites that I've suggested. And yeah, that's what I'm going to be cutting and assembling today. So I don't know if you guys have also selected your colors. Does anybody have anything handy?
I'm literally just logging on to check the comments now. Can I just request, we again don't have anyone sharing the link this evening, so if you could do us a favor and each and every one of you that's listening share it to at least one group, then we would be very grateful, so we can get as many people as possible tuning in. Okay, let's have a look and see what we have here, who's with us. So yeah, the usual suspects, Mark Giordone and Peter Loop. Good evening, how are you? So, well, without further ado, let's crack on, shall we, Josh?
You ready to make a start?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all we need today are the panels A3, A2, A1, D4, B1, B2, and B3. We're not doing any of the reinforcement panels today. That will come in the next few weeks. So just literally our main sail panels. So, like I said, we made these up last week. Everybody should have them. If not, you guys can log on to last week's video and you'll find how to assemble the templates on there. I'm going to start by cutting all the black panels. So like I said before, I went on, selected the colors I'm going to make. This is the kite I'm going to assemble. So I know for that reason that I need panel B2, where are we? A1, A3, and B3. So these are the 4 panels I'll be cutting in black. Just going to get rid of these ones.
So what colors are you going for, Josh?
So the colors I'm building are the black, red, white, and light grey.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I'm just putting the Zoom link in the Facebook chat for anyone that wants to join in.
Fantastic.
Okay, so yeah, it's where are we going to start then, Josh?
So like I said before, I'm going to start with the black panels. You can cut these in any order. It doesn't need to be specific. But I would suggest, if you guys haven't already, get yourself onto the Kite Paint website and select some colours that you're going to build or you want to build. There are the colours that were predefined by us. If you want to have a go at building that kite, that's absolutely fine and totally up to you. Yeah, so let's make a start, shall we? So, like with the mini pulse build, I've always fold over my acrylics when I'm cutting it, so that I know you're getting two identical panels. So what I'm going to do, I've rolled the acrylics out, and I'm lining the weave so that the panels are identical. Just putting a nice firm crease in there. And I know that because of the width, I can measure that up with the acrylics, and you can see that it is actually going to fit on those two sections. I'm just going to change the angle for you guys so you can actually see what I'm doing. So I'm going to start with the longer panels to reduce wastage. I've got a Swan Morton number 3 handle with a 10A blade, nice and sharp, which is going to be really useful for this because it can, these panels need to be quite precise when they're cut. So, like with the mini pulse, you've got your, you can see that there's the symbols on here which tell you the direction that the weave should be following. And we're going to align the weave, make sure that crease is nice and firm. And we're just going to follow along the edge. So you can see here I've got quite a long edge to cut against. So we're going to do this in small sections. So I'm just going to keep moving the ruler. And it's good to have like an extra ruler handy if you can, and just use that as a paperweight so that the templates aren't slipping as you're cutting them. So I'm just going to start to cut this now. I'm aligning the ruler, and you're cutting away from the template so that anything, if you do slip and cut, you're not cutting into the panels you've already cut. And it was commented on that I actually push with the scalpel. I find it's quite a lot easier to do that, because if you push with the scalpel blade, you're getting a nicer, sharper cut than dragging it, and you'll find that the blade bluntens less quickly. So just like now. And like I said, we're just going to do this in small sections following the edge of this template.
So anyone that was following us on the previous build, I guess this process is identical.
Yeah, so the cutting the template, cutting the panels is pretty much an identical process. There will be some slight differences when we get to the curved panels, but not a massive amount of difference. And we're repeating this process the entire way on the outside of the panel.
And is there anything in particular that people should be watching out for with the sort of shape and size of these panels? Are there any particular pitfalls?
To be fair, as long as your templates aren't sliding around the place, you should get some pretty accurate accurate panels.
So we've got Devon. I don't know if he's watching or just trolling us. We've got Bruno as well. Hello, everybody. Anyone that wants to join us, you're more than welcome. The Zoom link is in the chat, but be warned, we may make you talk live on camera. Watty's joined us. Good evening, Watty. Busy building away.
Hello.
I had half a mind that you might have actually already have put the sail, like sewn the sail together. I didn't know if you'd be waiting around for us.
I figured it would around. I'm spending my other time playing Subnautica, so I'm fine.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's fine. That's cool. So sorry, Josh, go ahead.
Just ran around the entire length of that panel, and you can see that because we folded it over, we've got two identical panels now. And if you just want to do a quick double check, you just run your template over the top and make sure all those lines add up. And actually, this is pretty perfect for what I need. So I can put these aside now. Sorry, Matt, I've interrupted you.
That's all right. So I was going to ask who hasn't had a chance to try out Warty's colorizer yet. It's worth a look for sure. If anyone wants the link, I will put it down below. Although I do have to try and track it down first.
I do notice that the colors that Josh has selected would not actually be selectable in Kite Paint.
He's not. But he's been a renegade. He's been a rebel, hasn't he? Well, I guess we're gonna have to let him off because you know, it's the artist's license. I guess you get to do what you want, right, Josh?
Well, yeah, I guess.
Well, I mean, no one's going to argue with you, really, are they? At this point, certainly not I.
This is very, very true.
Yeah, it's nice to have a one-off that no one else has got, I suppose.
Yeah, I've seen a few people's color choices, and needless to say, I know not everyone will be sticking to the rules that are set. And I suppose that's, you put a plan online, you expect people to break the rules a little bit.
Yeah, that's fine. We've got Ian Duncalf and Stefan Fears have joined us. Good evening, fellas. Hope you're doing okay.
Is Ian building? I would love to know that.
Yes, Ian, let us know if you're actually building. Let us know in the chat if you're going to build a Maverick.
So I just want to pull your guys' attention to this section now. So I've just started cutting the B3 panel, and this is the first kind of contact with a curved trailing edge on this kite. So the way that I tackle a curve, and you guys can do this any way you want. I say this a lot, but this is the way I do things. It's not the way that necessarily you have to do it. But I sometimes find it's easier to do a curve freehand if you've got kind of the steadiness in your hand to do that. But if you don't want to do it freehand, what I suggest you do is you just line it up maybe 2 or 3 centimeters at a time and just keep adapting the angle of your ruler so that your curve is actually followed in small straight sections. Does that make sense? Does that?
Yeah. Although I would encourage people to do it freehand where possible.
Yeah, so if you do feel confident doing freehand, yeah, you will get a better quality curve. So, like before, just double checking that those panels are aligning with the templates. They look good to me, and they're both the same. So now those are complete. You can put those to one side. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups a little bit today.
That's all right. You're excused. We've got Alan has joined us. Good evening, Alan. If you want the if you scroll, I don't know if you can, but I'm going to repost the Zoom link if you want to join us. I promise there'll be no profanity. I won't promise. I can't promise that. Here we go. There's the link again for anyone that wants it. Please feel free to come and join us. Peter Jansen's also joined in, and Jen Schneider. Good evening, everyone.
Just gotta get the trusty old Red Bull in there.
Trusty old Red Bull. Yeah. Now, funnily enough, we actually established last week, didn't we, that there's only one panel that doesn't have a very slight curve in it.
Exactly that, and that would be the A2 panel.
Yeah, so everyone at home, whilst you're merrily cutting away, just pay particular attention. There are curves on basically every single panel, so don't just go wading in with straight edges.
Matt, can you take over for 2 seconds? I seem to have misplaced my scalpel.
I can definitely take over. So has anyone got any colorizer pictures that they want to show us? Have you picked out your design, but you've not got your material yet, or are you mid-build? Chris, I'm going to switch to your camera so you can show us where you're up to. Let's have a look. Oh,
Hi.
Chris and Chris's dad. Hi, Phil.
Hello.
Hi. Where are you up to, Chris?
So we started a little bit earlier, so we've made a bit of progress. We started backwards because, in fact, we didn't start with the black panels. We started with all the color panels.
Okay.
I am going for that design, which
Ooh, very nice.
exactly sticking to it, sticking to the intended, but it's close. It's close.
Yeah, that's close enough. That's close enough. That's fine. Nice, interesting color choices there. I think that's going to look really cool in the air.
Purple and green. So yeah, I've got most of the all the color panels cut out at the moment. We're just going for the gray and then
Now,
black.
I would say you've got the more difficult panels already cut at this point.
That's what we started with. Yeah, we decided.
Yeah, I sort of work
with those, so we'd start with the hard ones.
I work in the same way. Get the difficult stuff out of the way, and then it's plain sailing from there.
Yeah.
And I was going to switch over to Watty. Oh, I think he is there. Watty, where are you up to with your build? Everyone really wants to know, I'm sure.
Let's see. So I came into my office just not that long ago and kind of plucked out some scrap fabric from my scrap fabric bin, so I can try to. Here's my
Oh
bin
my
of
God.
scraps.
Oh my goodness.
I'm trying to use up some scraps before I go and cut into my rolls.
Yeah.
I'm using my hard templates and
Yeah.
just running the soldering iron along them to get some hot cuts. So
Nice.
starting with the black so far, I have these two black panels, and that's about it.
Very
I'll be a
nice.
little slower on the cutting with the hot cutting and everything, but
Awesome. Excellent. Well, the
Yeah.
fact that I can hear Josh slicing away means that we are back in business, and he has found his scalpel.
I found the scalpel.
Where did you leave it?
I left it in a really unsafe place.
In your pocket?
No, you'll be very, very happy to know that I left it underneath the Icarex, which I then leant on and found my scalpel.
Oh, well done. Yeah, congratulations. I have to say, Josh, you are a bit of a walking disaster area. Having flown with you yesterday, yeah, nothing surprises me anymore. But
I think this conversation would be very concerning in an operating room.
Yeah,
Take over. I lost my scalpel.
yeah.
I left it in the patient.
Yeah, I left it in the patient. Lovely, fantastic.
So anyway, back to what we were talking about.
Well, actually, before we carry on, we're just you continue just cutting your panels, because I did want to check in with Mr. Alan Poxon. Alan, good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening. Hi.
Hi.
Fine. I was anxious for a moment because your Facebook page didn't come online straight away.
Yes. Now, and my feed has been gradually coming and going all evening and putting the fear of God into me, but by hook or by crook we managed to get it sorted out. So we're there. We are there.
Glad to hear. Yeah.
Have you started to build yet?
I haven't. I've got all my templates ready. So I've got all the templates cut out.
Excellent.
I was slightly anxious. I'm one of these people that can't throw old things away and have to repair them. So my printer is probably older than Josh. And I was just anxious. I wanted to see what was going to happen tonight, because with some of the prints, even though I carefully glued all the pages together, I was getting this sort of situation where the lines weren't matching up.
Oh.
So I'm just stepping back a little bit tonight and watching what Josh does. I think I can cope with that, because that's the leading edge. So I can cut the leading edge broad and then cut it back into a nice curve afterwards, I think.
Okay. All right. I wonder if it's something to do with the printer.
Almost definitely.
Yeah.
The thing about printers is they've all got different little quirks and margins and things like that. And no matter how you set your Adobe up to print these multiple pages, very often they can all be a little bit off.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I've been there myself, so I know exactly. Well, hopefully you can get that sorted out. And if you need anything from us for reference, then by all means just ask and we will do our best to help you out.
That's cool. Thank you.
So I've managed to keep Josh quiet for quite a while at this point. So I'm going to be forced to switch over and pick up the thread. So, okay, Josh, back on you now, my friend. But I did mute you in the process, so don't forget to unmute yourself. There we go. You got it.
Thanks for that, Matt.
No worries.
Yeah, so I'm just currently cutting the last of my black panels, and I'm just getting back to that lovely point in the build where there is a curve.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do, I have a bit of an issue. Hold on.
Are you going to be back to front? Is that the issue?
No, I've dropped a scalpel blade in my sock.
Oh, right. Okay. I did tell everyone, I did warn everyone we've got a walking disaster zone. And it seems like we're a bit jinxed on the stream tonight.
It does seem like there are a few
gremlins, yeah.
Curses. So I'm actually going to cut this one freehand, as I mentioned before. And what I'm doing is I'm putting enough pressure on the Icarus so that it doesn't slide without me forcing it to. And just make sure the panels are aligned. And you just run through. I remember why I dropped a scalpel blade in my sock. I was changing a scalpel blade because it was blunt.
There we go. There we go. So at this point, I don't have anything to demonstrate it with, but I would like to offer up an alternative solution to anyone that struggles with the cutting, in that I actually take a very low tack 20 mil masking tape, and I actually tape the Icarex to the surface that I'm cutting on, and then I tape the templates over the top of that, purely because I like to take my time when I'm cutting. In fact, I have to take my time. I don't really have a choice because I'm not very neat, but it does mean that you don't have to worry about it moving at all. So you can step away, you can go and make a cup of tea halfway through a cut, and you know that things will not have moved, and you can pick it up at a later date. It's worth giving it a try, especially if you're new to building and you want to just put a sort of fail safe in into the process. Josh doesn't need it because he's a professional builder, so there we go. But lots of you out there aren't, so give it a go.
And like I said before, Matt, just because, and you can already see various kind of techniques being used on these live builds, just because it works for one person doesn't mean it will work for everybody.
No,
so
absolutely. Absolutely. So we cut 2 of everything.
2 of everything, yes.
2 of everything. Okay.
Okay, so that's all the black cut. Give me a second.
Right, let's see if we got any comments on. Ian, were you saying that you do the same? Were you saying that you do the same as me with the taping down? If so, good to know. Also, hi Tina. Good evening. Hello from California. Oh, nice. And Peter's in, and Ian's not building along, but he is considering building one. He's currently on the side of a lake fishing. Ian, that's awesome. I'm glad you're getting some fishing in. I had thought about doing some tomorrow, I'll be honest, because I got a day off. Oh, John's in. Good evening, John. I hope you are very well.
Okay, Matt, I know about 50 Johns.
Well, he's the John that doesn't require a second name.
Ah, hello.
He's John of the kiting, I think is how he's formally known.
Fantastic.
And he just replied, yo, so that confirms it. Good evening. Yeah. No, it's not a quad line, John. It's a dual line, mate. It's a dual line. But you pick up some Icarex. Come and build along with us, mate. Give us all your secrets. Also, good evening, Stephen Reeve. Nice of you to join us. So,
I told a little bit of a lie before.
did you?
I said I cut all my black panels.
Oh, you left one out.
I did. There we are.
So it's nice to see that you're still flat out on the Red Bull as well, Josh.
I've been encouraged to quit drinking Red Bull.
I don't think you've been encouraged enough, because there's definitely evidence in the background of you sustaining yourself today. So there we go.
I don't know what you're talking about, mate. That's Red Bull's new product, water in a can.
Ah, right. Yeah. Okay. So, John, are you tempted to build along with us? Watty's got a great colorizer. You can go and check it out. Go and have a look now, and you can tell us what colors you want.
I think I know what the theme will be.
I'm interested to see if he comes back with anything. I didn't ask Alan. Alan, what colors are you going for? You're muted.
Sorry.
There we go.
Okay. What I did notice Josh's different color scheme first thing, but mine follows the colorizer.
Good.
I don't know if I can swap to showing you my screen actually.
You might be able to.
I can't find the choice.
I might have to do this. Oh no, hold on.
But it's going to be basically.
You can share screen. You can share screen if you want. I've just enabled it.
Right, where's that?
Should be towards the bottom in the center.
Share screen. There we go. Okay. So if I just flick to that one.
Let's do.
I want to see this.
Yeah, look. Nice. Like it.
So
like
it's
it
just
a lot.
a three-tone blue.
And Alan, are you
Excellent.
building an Icarex?
No, I'm still raiding my old scrap bin, which you may have seen some of before.
Quite possibly. Is the scrap bin clear by any chance?
Clear. There are two huge scrap bins behind me, actually, full of all sorts of stuff. So yeah, it's there's plenty to go at.
Fantastic.
I'm just watching you intently here.
There we go.
Nice, very smooth. Let's see if, first of all, Chris, have you cut any more panels? Can we see some panels from you?
We've done a couple more. So the A2 panels, the nice and easy ones that are all straight.
Nice.
Just moving on to the black now. So we've got A1, A3, and A3 to do, but we're just trying to figure out how they can fit on best.
Okay. All right, so you've done the black now, Josh. You're on the home straight, I think, now.
I've got 3 more panels, well, 6 more panels to cut, but 3 more cuts to make.
Very nice.
So, for anybody that is using scraps, you don't have to fold over the panels, the silk fabric you're using to mirror them. So I've got the Icarex on a roll, but I also have this quite large scrap of white Icarex that I know I could get the panels out of. And admittedly, I could probably get both panels out of this, but just for the sake of showing you guys, if you've got two different pieces that you want to get the same panel out of, but you still want that cut to be identical, you can literally just sit the cell fabric on top of it. And what I sometimes do is I just run a ruler over the top, and you get almost like a little static charge that just holds the fabric together. Which, if you want to build out scraps, I suggest you could possibly use. And that doesn't need to be the same fabric. It works for if you're doing an asymmetrical kite and you want to have different colors on the other side, you can use that technique too. This is the nice panel which has no curves in it, so this should be nice and easy to cut.
So this is the one that Chris has just done.
I would also kind of note if you're hot cutting like I am, then you can't, you don't want to fold over and then cut because you'll melt the layers together. And then if you try to tear them apart, you'll likely tear the fabric. So I'm having to cut them one at a time.
Oh, that's a great tip. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, if you have already tried it at home, you probably have already realized that it's not the way to do it because you've got lots of panels stuck together. If you were contemplating hot cutting, don't fold the Icarus like Josh has demonstrated beforehand, because as what he says, you will have lots of panels that are stuck together. So that's a good 11th hour tip. If you've already done it, then I can only apologize. But yes, we are demonstrating the scalpel in this case. So there we go.
Like when snowboarding, don't follow me. I do stupid things.
Yeah, exactly. Do as I say, not as I do. Wow, you blitzed that one, Josh. You finished it already.
No.
No? Nearly. There we go.
Yeah, that's done. Should have added more white to this kite. I love white kites.
I have got a real thing for white kites at the moment, and they keep cropping up. I flew a couple at the weekend, and yes, I'm very, very keen on both of my white kites.
Oh yes, you flew another white kite at the weekend as well.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh no, neither do I.
No. So has anyone actually crammed in some flying this weekend? That would be good to know, because I have to say, I have done lots and it's been exceptional.
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay. So Ian actually says that he hot cuts multiple layers and uses a very thin metal ruler to separate the layers, so there's no problem. Bonus. Okay, so that's a good tip. I guess you have to be quite quick with the soldering iron in that case.
Yeah, I've tried it. I still sometimes tear it when I do that, and then I have to recut. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for a beginner like me, it's probably still no good. I would probably end up in a lot of difficulty, as you say, Watty. So I think I will leave that to Ian. He's obviously got the technique down, but he's also a very experienced kite builder. So there we go. So the light grey now, Josh.
The light grey. We're on the home stretch. After this, only one more panel to cut.
I have to say, I do like light grey as well. It's one of those that it sort of sparkles silver in the sun. You know, you turn the kite a certain way and it always just reflects very nicely.
It sparkles silver in the sun.
Okay. It does. It do. It do.
It do, does it?
It do. It definitely do.
Way aye, man.
Way aye.
Sorry, right.
So you've got a big curve on this one.
So what I'm gonna cut the outside of this curve. Sorry, the outside of this panel, and then do the curve after.
Okay.
Because this curve is the most curved of the curves.
Yes, it's very curvy.
It is very curvy. So here we go.
Peter's in the stream. I didn't see Peter sneak in. Good evening, sir. How are you? You're muted.
I'm good. I'm good.
Are you building a Maverick?
I am building a Maverick, but it's hot pink and blue.
The best colors.
Those colors seem familiar.
Yes, they are quite familiar. And how far have you got with it?
I'm at the beach today, so I'm not cutting, but I've got the templates cut out and the fabric laid out, so I'll cut it tomorrow.
Awesome. So I take it you're flying at the beach, obviously.
You bet.
And what are you flying? Oh, look. Oh, awesome. Okay.
Oh, nice.
There's a nice fleet flying today for sure. Cool. That's a vented? I think one's a vented, is it?
Yes.
Nice. Right. What's the wind like there today?
It's light. I'm in Manzanita, Oregon, so not far from Wadi. It's a light breeze today, not too breezy.
So you'll be having lots of fun, that's for sure.
You bet.
There's some nice sea breeze.
At least it's sunny.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting. So you're using a ruler then, Josh?
Just for the long curve, because if I don't want to slip with this curve.
Yeah.
But at the same time, all I'm doing is I'm using the ruler to keep the edge of the so you guys can't see that. I'm using the ruler, but it's away from the edge of the template.
Yeah.
So I'm cutting this section here, and all I'm doing is the ruler is locking the template in place and just giving this little bit of the template a little bit extra strength, just while I run that curve, that cut freehand.
Yeah.
And that should come. Yeah.
I suppose the key is take your time.
Yes.
There's absolutely no rush. But certainly for me, I build kites for pleasure, so there's absolutely no need to rush through anything, and better to take your time and get it right.
So, right, the final panel.
Final panel, which is
B1.
B1.
Just a quick swig of the wake up juice.
Yeah. Now, would you say this is the hardest panel to cut, or was the previous curve the hardest panel?
So, ironically, the B1 panel is very similar to the B1 panel that we had in the mini pulse.
Yeah.
So it's two straight lines and one line with a slight curve in it.
Yeah.
And the key here is just make sure that the curve in this leading edge, because this is essentially your leading edge,
Yeah.
is as the template dictates it to be. I'll show you guys now.
So let's go back to Facebook. So Ian's saying help. I don't know if that's from a previous thing, or if he actually needs help.
Maybe he's caught a fish that's too big.
I was going to say, He's got that 45-pound cup. He's going to be playing it for the next hour and a half. No comments. That's rare. Okay, we've got plenty of people watching, so they're all obviously just knee deep in kite making, which is good. So, anyone got any colours to show us? If you have, stick them in the chat so we can have a look, or join us in Zoom. If you want to join us in Zoom, I'm going to put the link up again, so you don't have to scroll back. There we go.
Matt, I couldn't help but notice that Mr. Dwight has a large collection of Dwights in the background. Would he care to take us through the ones that he's built? Because I think they are very impressive.
Yes. Okay. So let's switch to Mr. Chris Purcell. Right. Let's have a look at these mini pulses then, Chris.
So there's a few. Just to reference one is this one, which is the one that Josh built in.
Oh yes, because you were the one of the competition winners. That's right.
Which was nice. So
very nice.
So we have for reference here, Flow Yellow, which I have to say in the original I build doesn't actually show up as bright as it is there. It's really nice. But yeah. Next we have. I actually built two before this, which were dark grey, orange, and flow green as a practice, as a mirrored pair.
Yeah.
Don't have those at the moment, but I then went on to build this one.
That red center panel is really nice.
Yeah, did that one as a bit of fun because I know that Josh in general prefers a black center panel, so I thought I'd break his rules a little bit. Just to wind him up.
So he's just tormenting him. I have to say the colours are very, very nice.
Yeah, so that one is red, dark grey, and black, which is nice. A symmetric one. I don't often build symmetric lights. I'll go for them. Normally my sets are asymmetric. And this one, in fact, wasn't mine. This is one that Dad built after watching me build mine. And this one is, as you can see, purple, flow green, and light grey.
That is very, very neat.
I've got to say, from looking at that, that looks like the quality has been done amazingly.
I mean, those lines are ridiculously sharp.
Perfect. Yeah, it's a very nice kite, and we actually went out to fly today because it was not too bad. So in fact, we took these two out to fly, and for the short period that the wind was playing ball, they were very good. But it did get quite blustery, and we were in not a great area with sort of swirling wind.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And what size lines were you flying on?
I was just going to say, I think we spoke before that you mentioned that you'd flown this on 120 foot.
Don't tell everybody. Yes, I had put one at the end of a set of 120 foot lines, and
we did exactly the same and gave it up because the wind was changing direction too much, and that involved a whole lot of running. So we moved back down to my Josh Special 22.5 foot, which was supposed to be 30 foot.
Nice.
And they worked beautifully on that. Absolutely brilliant. Interesting.
Thanks for that, Chris.
I think Josh originally recommended for the frame on these to be P100s. I couldn't source any P100s at the time, so I've got P90s and P200s in there. And it makes a huge difference on this kite. Huge difference. So the wind was a bit blustery, and the 200s definitely give it a bit more mass, make it axle a bit nicer.
Awesome. Well, they definitely look very, very good, and I'm looking forward to that time at some point in the future when we can see you both at the Downs and have a proper get together. I'm sure it won't be too much longer, although I have to say, going up there this morning, despite the rain, again, it was heaving, so it'll probably be a little while, let's say. So Josh.
Okay, so all my panels are now cut. So this is where it starts to get exciting. You can start to see what the kite is going to look like, and you can, we start to throw it together.
Yeah.
So you will notice that on the template, I haven't put any boundaries on for the overlap. And the reason I haven't done that is because with the mini pulls, I suggested you use this 3M's ATG tape. This is 6mm wide, and the margins for these panels are 6mm. And it's done in a way that the margin is actually put into the panels, so you can have either panel on top or behind, so that your colours don't appear through the back of the panel, which is on top. So you can see that the white obviously appears, so the black appears through the white, but not vice versa. And that just gives you guys a little bit more freedom of how to layer up these panels. So the way that I'm going to do this, we're going to build the kite in sections. So we're actually going to assemble it in 3 parts. We're going to assemble the outer wing here, so made up of this black panel, the light grey, and the black panel at the tip. We're going to make up a section made up of the black panel at the top and the red panel. And then this center 3 panels here, the black B3 and A2 in the white. And you'll see why as we go along this. So I'm going to start with what am I going to start with? Yeah, I'm going to start with these panels here, which is the black, the white, and sorry, I've just told you guys a total lie. It is going to be 2, but it's going to be no. I've confused myself. Sorry, guys. I've confused myself because I've got black panels touching each other. It's actually going to be the B3, the light grey, the black, and the black tip, and the center section is going to be made up of A2 and A3. Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna start with this and show you guys how I do it. So I'm gonna make up the center first, and like I said before, the boundary, the overlap is built in at 6mm. So if you use a 6mm tape, that's going to naturally determine where that overlap's going to be. And I know that I want the black on top of the white, so I'm going to apply the tape to the white. Offer the panel up first, so you know that it is the right panel. They should meet roughly at the edges. I'm going to apply this tape right flush with the edge so that there is absolutely no overlap of the Icarex where there is no tape. And that gives you a nice determined 6mm seam. Just check that it's in the right place because you do get a second chance if you peel it back. I know it is, so I'm just going to blemish that on with my finger. And then I'm going to peel away, leaving the adhesive exposed. And we're just going to line it up, the black panel with the edge of the adhesive, and you can see where the overlap will lie. Much like the mini pulse, it's the same technique. You follow your adhesive line, and you'll see that they add it perfectly. So once you've got that in place, again, just blemish that in so you know that it's correct. And that's the first of the 3 sections. So I'm just going to put this aside. And the next section is going to be made up of the light grey, which is C3, the inner black, which is B3, and the long black, which is B2, and the black tip, which is D4. And we can see that that makes up a section of the wing. So again, much like before, you're layering up the lightest panels behind. And do this in a way where you can absolutely be sure that if you've got different panels, so you can see that my black tip would be darker than the light grey. So I know that I can make this lower section, which is going to be covered by this long black panel, so that all the overlap will be behind the seam, if that makes sense, and you won't see any of the seams once it's all put together. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense, mate. Yeah.
Okay. Words are not my strong point, so if I do say anything,
No, it's no, it does make total sense. I didn't realize it was going to actually start coming together quite so quickly.
What time are we on?
Just about 9 o'clock, but we started a bit late.
That's all right then. So yeah, I'm just adding it to where these seams would be. Do not apply seam tape to the leading edge or the trailing edge. It's not required at this point. Okay, so again, check that it is flush with the edge. You can see it is. Leverage that on. Again, offering it up just to make sure it is the right seam. Excuse me. And oh, Matt, we forgot to announce this build competition.
Yes, we did. So I'll let you go for it. I don't want to take the glory. So yeah, why don't you tell everyone?
I believe it was your idea.
Well, it might have been, but yeah, go for it.
So because last time we had the raffle and we had such a great taking of people donating to charity and getting involved, we decided that it would be a good idea to have something offer this time. And we're not going to have a raffle. Instead, we're going to have something a lot more, is British the right word, I guess?
Yeah, and I guess we'd say it's a bit of fun. It's a bit of added fun to be had, and like Josh said, because people donated so much last time, we wanted to actually make it less about the having to dig deep, and actually just have something that everyone can get involved in, and yeah. So
we will be having a tombola.
So I tell you what I'm going to do, because we do have a large international following, and I'm going to look up the definition of a tombola.
I saw Alan crack a smile on that. Quite amused by that.
Okay. Right.
It's a very, very British thing, I think.
It is.
Doubtless they have him the same thing all over the world, but if you go to an event at a local village hall, everybody will have a go and spend a few bob on the tombola.
Exactly. And we're gonna be keeping the ticket price very, 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 very low. So it should be quite funny. Now, the definition for everyone, all our international viewers, it is a game in which people pick tickets out of a revolving drum, and certain tickets win immediate prizes, typically played at a fete or fair. So there we go. And they've also got the Geordie pronunciation as Tambola. So there we go. So that will be happening, and we will be bringing prizes into the mix throughout the coming episodes.
I dare say some of those prizes may be kite related.
Yes, they may be kite related, and they may also be absolutely terrible. Not all of them, but some of them.
In the fashion of a tombola.
In the fashion of a tombola. So typically you normally win very, very terrible prizes like cans of beans, etc., etc.
I can feel a lot of people asking the question, what the hell are these guys talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so back to kites.
Back to kites.
Now the three sections of this kite. No, I haven't. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Sorry. So you can see that now. If you, in fact, I'll lay this out, and I'm just going to zoom out so you guys can have a full look and maybe make a bit of sense of this. Hello. Swap camera. There we go. So this is, you can see now that the kite
Oh,
is
very tidy.
basically stuck together. And what we're going to do now, we're actually going to assemble the sections. So we're going to apply this section to this section, and then this section to these sections as a whole. And you'll see why. It makes it a lot more simple for assembling the kite. Again, I have the white panel going underneath the darker panel. If your darker panel is on this side, then you can reverse that. It doesn't make any difference. So I'm going to apply the tape to this panel as a whole.
Now you are going to have a situation with the red.
I'm going to get to that, and that's deliberate.
Okay.
I'm glad you picked up on that. So just checking that the tape lines up. Offer the panels off. It worked.
The tape's always a lot stickier on camera. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
And it's always a lot less compliant on camera as well.
So what you can see is that the sections have lined up at this end and also lined up at the trailing edge. So you
Very
know
nice.
that things are going the way they should. Right, so as Matt pointed out before, there's going to be a situation here as I have effectively a layer of panels where I've got the white, which is lighter than the black, which needs to cover it. But then I've got red, which needs to be covered by the black on the lower panel. So what I'm going to do, you're going to need a pencil for this part, is you offer up the panel, and at the point where the red comes into play, just add a little mark, no more than 6mm, or else you will see it once this is done. And then we're going to do this in a section. So just going to apply the tape up to that mark. And you can do this for any panel in the kite. It's purely coincidence that it's happened at this panel. So that tape is up to the mark. So offering that up again, just to make sure the tape is to the right place. You know it is. So you're going to peel back and apply the panel to that tape. So what you can see is now that is applied up to the point where the red panel comes into play. And it's now at the stage where we need to make sure that this panel, this red seam, is behind the black. So all I'm going to do is going to slightly peel off the red from this panel, not the red from here, because it's not connected. It's the red from this seam here. But only a little bit. See, it's not much. It's about a centimetre, maybe a centimetre and a half. We're going to flip the kite over so you can see the back of the sail. And then just iron that back on there. So now we have the black on the front of the kite. Is this clear on camera? Is it?
Yeah.
And the red on the back of the sail. Okay. And then what we do from there, we just roll the red back on the back of the sail, and instead of applying tape to the front, we just apply it to the back of the kite. It's the same principle, just starting at the point where that red fabric comes into play. Apply it all the way down the edge. Okay, and then again, double checking that tape's in the right place. Blemish that on. And peel it back. And then you got to be careful here because you can't peel it back as far as you need to if it goes wrong. But just offer it and do it in small sections along the back of the kite. So
Can I ask a question, Josh, while you're just finishing that off?
go for it.
Is this a technique that you've devised yourself, or is it something that you've picked up from one of the other more experienced kite flyers as you've gone round on your travels?
I did discover this from a very well experienced kite flyer.
I think that's one of the great things about kite flying. Of all the hobbies that I've had over the many years, the kite flyers are probably the most generous with their time and their experience, and they're only too pleased to tell people how to do things. That's really cool.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, actually, Alan. Definitely, I think every kite flyer I know is ready to offer their experience and little tips and tricks willingly. So yeah, no, absolutely. You're muted, Josh.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I told you guys this in the last build, and actually Alan knows this flyer. But the very reason that I build kites is because of that very generosity of kite flyers handing me knowledge. And there's this one flyer called John Wymark who flies in the Northeast, part of a team, and I forget the team name, and that's really bad.
Uh-oh.
Orion. Is it Orion?
Yeah, that was the last name. Team Orion.
Yeah, it has changed a few times. But yeah, there's so many like friendly people in the sport that are just more than happy to help. But we have a kite sail stuck together.
Awesome.
And that now is ready to be sewn. There's obviously two sides to this kite, so you need to repeat the process, but make sure you make a reflection. You don't make the same side twice. I've done that. It's annoying.
It's very, very annoying. I did the same with, I think it was actually when I was making Graham's mini pulse sail, and realized that I'd assembled it back to front and had to go back and redo it. I was very upset.
Yeah. It's even worse with a black kite, because there's no disguising that. Sometimes you go, will I get away with it? Will I not get away with it? And no, if it's black, I mean, black is the best color of them all. It's got to be said. But yeah, you're not getting away with it.
Absolutely. So, is there anything more for today? Or
I think that's enough for today. It's quite a lot to do there. If you
now
guys...
we're not joining the two halves.
Well, I haven't assembled the second half yet.
Well, no, I know.
No, do not join the two halves.
Okay.
You'll see why.
Okay.
Is Alan shaking his finger at me, or is he?
No. I was just. No.
Oh, sorry.
No, I quite agree with you, Josh. I think I know what you're going to say, and perfectly right.
Okay. So definitely just do what Josh has done, but twice, obviously, and obviously make sure that they're reflections of each other. So Yes, I will quickly go to Facebook. Has anybody got any questions on tonight's build so far? Doesn't look like it. No, just check YouTube. Anybody in the Zoom room got anything to ask? Chris, how have you been getting on with your panels? Where are you up to?
We are up to, we've got one panel to cut and one C3, but the C3 is a weird shape. Oh, sorry, two C3s, but we're struggling to sort of figure out how best to use the space of the Icarax at the moment. So I think a bit more head scratching and then.
Yeah, because actually it does take up quite a bit of area, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you can lay
The
down.
problem with this panel is that there's 1,000,001 ways you could cut it, but
Yeah.
it's finding that most economical way and getting the direction right.
Yeah, the direction's the big thing. I keep laying it up and going, yeah, it will be good there, and then realizing that it's not the right way around. So yeah, I think. But
What about not?
Last three panels, then we're done.
Have you been folding?
No.
Okay, yeah. So that will also help not folding.
Not folding.
Because you can be like more economical by not folding.
Yeah, we haven't been folding. We've been taking your tip, I think, of sticking the template down with a small amount of double-sided tape.
Yeah.
One at a time. So yeah, folding probably gets you too identical. I'm not confident I can fold.
Yeah.
I haven't slipped, so we've been doing one now. They seem to be coming out pretty good. So yeah.
Excellent. Well, if they're anything like your mini pulses, it will be very, very good. Watty, let's have a look at you and check in with you. Where are you up to? Have you found enough scraps to make some panels?
Everything cut. I got these two together. Got these two together. So those will
nice.
Be like that and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then working on sticking everything together. I do have a slight note on maybe some technique. I know one bit that I tend to do is if I'm gonna put a new panel up on this side, I'll go and I'll just kind of tape it down and then say line up the next piece here, put this tape down, line up the next piece and also tape it, and then just fold it back and peel back.
That's my method. Yeah.
Let it fall back.
100%. That's when I stick mine together. That's exactly what I'll be doing, for sure, just to get them perfect. Because I'm too clumsy to actually stick two panels together neatly in one go. So definitely folding it back and letting it drape. The drape technique, I think that's what they call. Who else have we got? We know Alan. Yeah, we haven't got anything to see there, and Peter, we haven't got anything to see.
I've done some black.
Oh, here we go.
And I'm on the blue.
Oh, nice.
So
Very nice.
I'm just sort of, as Chris was saying, I'm just trying to line up on the blue to get these long panels out of there. But that's fairly economical. That one, I like that one.
Yeah. We can handle those all day.
This cruel temptation of setting up nice kites in the background.
Yeah, I had noticed. I've
got a feeling that's a wind warrior.
It's a pretty serious kite.
I had it outside the other day.
Very nice. Very nice.
I hope Lexi's watching.
So there's no questions on Facebook. That's a surprise. Josh, you've obviously explained yourself really well tonight because no one is asking for any more, so that's good. And nothing on YouTube. So okay, everyone, I think we've gone on long enough. So thank you very much for tuning in. What we covering next week, Josh?
Next week we will be sewing the sail, cutting reinforcements for the sail, applying said reinforcements, and I will also be releasing details of the frame position, the frame itself, and the bridle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And do we need special bits and pieces, soldering iron, things like that?
Soldering iron, Dacron, you link. If you have it, if not, you can use Dacron. Yeah, I think
we'll put a post up.
Yeah, we'll
put a post up. Okay. All right. Cool.
Matt, by the way, I've got a comment. I love the t-shirt.
What, this t-shirt?
That t-shirt there.
This t-shirt here. I don't know. Are you familiar with the logo?
I think I might be familiar with the logo.
I mean, you're probably more familiar. Like, it's probably easier if I do one of those.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Go Team Kite Tech. That's all I'll say. Oh, there we go. Look. Oh, we're both representing. Oh, look at that. We look like staff.
You put me to shame today.
Yeah, I know. Well, there we go. Just like any other day. So, right, everyone, thank you very much for joining in at home. We will be back on again next week, 8 p.m. UK. You know the time, you know the place, and we will be continuing to build. And even if you're not building along, come and join us. Come and make fun of us all. And yeah. Let's have another great session. So thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you everyone in Zoom. You know what to do. See you later, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
We're